All right, everybody. Today we're going to talk about the Torque app or the Torque Pro app, which is what you're going to need to be able to do this. Um, when you get this, obviously you can see this is kind of the basic layout. You've got real-time information, which is a great section that we're going to cover here in a little bit. Fault codes is another one that's really good. You can actually go through, see what fault codes you have, and you can clear some to see if they come back or not. And then real-time charts, which is the second from the bottom, another really good one for data logging. So in order to actually set this up, you'll have to get the actual Torque Pro app, which isn't very expensive, but it's good to have. And then you'll need to get a OBD2 Bluetooth dongle. It doesn't have to be super expensive. I bought a really cheap one on Amazon, and it has worked great for years. I've not had any issues with it at all. And then the last thing is going to be the adapter harness. There's basically like a kind of like a diagnostics OBD port of sorts, but it's only like a four pin connector that's required. So it's basically like a 4-pin connector to OBD2 adapter harness, and you can find those usually on Amazon or on eBay as well, and they're fairly cheap, so that's a good part. So we're going to look at the real-time information section first. This section is great because you can go through, set up a lot of custom gauges, various sizes if you want, lots of different ones that are already pre-available to you as well, beyond the custom PIDs that we're going to talk about as well. So that being said, as you can see at the top is my throttle position. There's also the coolant temperature. There is intake air temperature, the gear position sensor, and CAFR, which is commanded air fuel ratio. And then bottom left is RPM, and bottom right is measured air fuel ratio. So commanded is what is being told to the bike, and in terms of like your fueling, and measured is what's actually being outputted, for example. Now, big thing that I have to tell you about with this one, throttle position, which is the very top one. Throttle position is a little bit tricky. I'm sure there's a way to go about and adjust it, but when you start your bike, it reads automatically at like 11.8 or something like that, right? So it shows that the throttle valve is open. On a first gen, it's not, because you have an idle air valve already, which allows the air to go through that it needs to idle. I could see maybe on a second or third gen that has an electronic throttle body, but on the first gen, the reading's off. You just have to keep that in mind, because even though you are wide open, it's going to show like 89 or 88% or something like that, right? Just know that it is 100% open. You just have to kind of adjust based on, the offset reading that it provides. Coolant temperature is good. I've not had any issues with those. All of the other ones appear to be fairly accurate from what I've been able to determine. Now keep in mind, depending on what your setup is, if you have a standard OEM, 390, commanded AFR and measured AFR, those might be slightly slow because you're using a narrowband O2 sensor as opposed to like a wideband O2 sensor, right? And narrowband O2 sensors are great, but they're not as accurate, nor do they respond nearly as quick, right? So I'm going to show you next blank screen real quick, and I'm just going to show you real fast how you can add a gauge on here so you can kind of build the cluster out. So swipe over, press and hold, add display, and you can see there's a whole bunch of display types on here. Now keep in mind, not all of these work because it's very broad and it has to work for a lot of different things. So we're just going to do needle type, top one. Everything that's green, these are all things that theoretically are supposed to work right out the box, right? What you're going to notice is that a lot of these are things that are specific to like your phone, right? There's all kinds of like GPS stuff, estimated horsepower at wheels, right? Estimated. Same with kilowatts. battery barometer meetings. Again, that it uses your phone for that. So it does pull a lot of information from your phone. Now, if you look through here, I actually see a few different ones that I haven't seen before. So like absolute throttle position B, for example. That one I may end up trying out and seeing, hey, maybe the throttle position one measures correctly based on that one, but we'll see. I've not used that one before yet. So, okay, so air fuel ratio commanded and measured. These are two custom PIDs, right? Those are two that I put in. Ambient air temperature is the one that's going to work great. And then we're going to go down, let's see, we'll do, there's engine coolant temperature, which is good. Engine RPM PID, that's a custom one that was made as well. And there's fuel flow. We will pick, where's the gear one? Intake air temperature. I must have missed it. All right, let's just pick a random one because it really doesn't matter, right? We'll do engine RPM. Now you can pick the size of the display that you want. So we're just going to pick medium. And as you can see, it's gridded on the board to allow you to kind of snap them into place. That way you can try to make it symmetrical. But let's just say that you put it over here and you don't want it there. You can click and hold it, and then you can go to move display, and you can move it again, right? You can even resize it and adjust it. You can go in afterwards, and you can edit the PIDs as well. Real-time charts, you can go here. Now, this one's a little bit, not tricky, but takes a little bit of work because you have to kind of set them up. Let me see here. I think it is this button. Yeah. So as you can see here, you can set up charts. Number one is a very generic name, but when you click on that, you can scroll down and wait, was it towards the top? Set engine sensors, and then you can set sensors on here based on, you can create the color and you can pick specifically which ones, kind of like what we were looking at before, and it'll show you on here as a scale. Now the cool part too is that you can actually go back. Oh, this was the play button at the top is how you start. Let me see. Okay, we have a trip here. I'm going to pull this up, and here is a trip, for example. Now the scaling is super far off because, as you can see, there's the red one, which is engine RPM, which obviously is significantly higher. But you can move with two fingers, and you can zoom in if you want. Now this is going to show you at the top right. You can scroll through, and it will show you like engine air temperature, right? AIT sensor was reading 73.4 intake AITs, right? And then coolant temperature, throttle position at the time. Again, keep in mind you have to do the math. Speed and measured AFR, right? So 14.29, right? And you can kind of go through, and it will measure, and you can turn it on and off to kind of data log your ride. Which is a very useful tool, whether you're one, trying to diagnose something, or two, making sure that, you know, AFRs are looking pretty good overall, especially if you just did some mods, right? And you're not 100% sure under what conditions, if it's going to be super lean or too lean, you can go through and check using this app, using these PIDs. So this is one of my favorite features on here, and I absolutely love it a lot. So, all right, so we're going to exit out of this. Back out, and fault codes, we know about that. Now I'm going to show you the PIDs. So what I am going to do, you go to settings and manage extra PIDs / sensors, and if you look on here, edit, it has a bunch of values. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make one because I don't want to delete mine. At the very top, you'll hit add custom PID, hit OK. And then we're going to do one for commanded AFR, right? So you're going to put 212E. And then I like to put, for the long one, commanded AFR. I'm going to do 2 R's because there's already another one. AFR. And then you see minimum and maximum value. So minimum, obviously below 10 is super rich. So I do 10. And I'll probably do 20. Because at that point the engine's dead if it goes past 20. So now you go down to equations, and for this equation you're going to do, okay, parentheses, or not parentheses, but okay, capital A, you're going to do star 256, you're going to close that. And then we're going to do plus B, close that again, divided by 2378. And then at the bottom, you can test it or hit OK. I'm just going to hit OK. And then it will show up here, AF, the second one from the top, AFRR. So that's the PID that we just made. Now, I'll leave this screen up for a brief second, so you can screenshot it if you want and use those. And then we're going to talk about the engine RPM one and the transmission one. Okay, engine RPM, 2121 RPM, right? Now this is what I was telling you about, where you can go through and kind of set the value that you want. So 0 obviously being engine's off. Maximum value, I put 13,000. You can do more than that if you want. It kind of depends on what your red line's at. But going through and adjusting that is no problem at all. You can put 15,000, 16,000. Obviously the bike doesn't rev that high, but you could put it on there. Transmission one. Now on here, 0 to 6 because it's a 6-speed, and then 2133 at the top, and it's simply just put A. That's it for the equation. And then this one's good. It does a very good job. I don't know how it receives its signal. I think that somewhere within the OBD system, it probably sees some kind of shift somewhere, or the Torque Pro app is just good enough to detect that there's a shift, which I doubt. I feel like there's probably got to be it uses some kind of signal in order to do it. But this specific PID works really well. I've not had any issues with it. So, but with that being said, that's pretty much the ones that I know of. If you happen to know of any more that work, definitely feel free to let me know. I know for the longest times these were kind of the main ones, but I know you can go through and add a couple more if you want. The big thing, like I said, is just kind of figuring out that process. I don't take credit for these PIDs. I just happen to have had them for a very long time. I can't remember how I came upon them, but it was a long time ago. And I know that this could help some people out at some point. But if you happen to know any, like I said, feel free to leave a comment below or ask any questions. And let me know if these work out for you. And if you're a 2nd gen or 3rd gen Duke owner and you try these out, let me know which ones actually work or don't work. I'd be curious to see, because I'm not sure for the 2nd gen and 3rd gen guys. Alright guys, that's pretty much it. I'm in a hotel room moving to Rhode Island, so if you happen to be Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Boston area, somewhere around there, hit me up. Maybe we can meet up or something like that, go for a ride or something. So until I get moved into the next garage, that's pretty much going to be it for now. So as always, you guys have a good one.